Hey, hey.
We're live. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Podcast episode 11.
Episode 11 of the Late Game Link podcast.
Late Game Link. Yeah. Thanks for listening. If you're a returning viewer or listener, and if this is your first time, I guess quick rundown. My name's Robbie,
And I'm Derek.
and have we ever gone over the name? Like, I feel like we've only gone over it like the first episode or two.
I think the first episode or
So,
two.
if you are a first-time viewer, or even if you forget, we call this the Late Game Link podcast because we linked up later in life. You know, there's the classic, you have all your friends from growing up and, you know, you kind of watch movies or play video games with them and, you know, you have similar interests. And I feel like maybe not everyone, but you tend to not get as many of those types of like friendships later in life. So we thought it'd be funny to call the podcast like the Late Game Link podcast, which I think is pretty clever.
I think it's clever. It's got alliteration, and there is a double entendre, obviously, in that, like, if we were playing D&D, the late game, you talk about the late game. You talk about later on in the journey.
So we talk about pretty much anything and all kind of nerdy media. So anything from video games to comic books to movies to regular books, tabletop gaming. Really anything can come across this desk.
Yeah.
So this definitely isn't a desk.
They don't have to know that. If that is of any interest to you, obviously like, comment, subscribe, all those things. Maybe subscribe.
Tell your friends.
Maybe actually subscribe and then like, and then comment when you're feeling a little braver. But
I think we're still in search of a first commenter.
Someone has to
Someone's
be the first commenter. So.
Eventually, someone's gonna. I know I have a couple friends listening now who are like working their way through the episodes. Because they didn't start watching until we had like 6 or 7 out.
Right.
So, you know, that's a lot to take on right away. But one of these episodes I'll get to, and maybe who knows, maybe it'll be the first.
I'm going to read your name. Like, you're getting a shout out for free on a YouTube podcast. I feel like that's like, is that worth anything anymore? I don't know. Comment and find out. Right?
Yeah. It's a new age currency. But yeah, so we start the week off. Or the episode off, the same pretty much every time. And we have these kind of like 4 different sections that we do every time. So to start us off, we always do topics of the week. So they're topics that, since we have seen each other, things that we've wanted to bring up. It doesn't necessarily have to be a current event. Usually it kind of ends up being something like that. But even if it's something like, I played one of my favorite childhood video games the other day, and like I wanted to talk about it, like since the last time we talked. That's kind of like the topic of the week. So, in light of saying that they're mostly all current events, I'll start this week off. I feel like we've touched on this very briefly, and we always say that's like a topic for when we actually want to talk about it. Stranger Things. That's the big thing right now.
That is like the news or the
it's like the
final
season. I guess it ends New Year's Eve. So
yeah, I think you can go to a theater and watch the finale.
Yeah, I saw that. I wanted to hear just our general takes on Stranger Things. We've talked about how you've watched it, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we've both watched it. We'll talk about maybe the new episodes because I'm not fully done with those yet.
Okay.
But yeah, what's your take on Stranger Things? How do you like it?
So I am not.
Is this a hot take?
We might be starting a later section, hot takes, in this moment. Although I also am painfully aware of like I don't want to make I'm not trying to be like the counterculture. I hate Stranger Things because everybody loves Stranger Things. That's not what it is. I really respect aspects.
I'm glad you said that because that right there, what you just did, is a part of my one hot take. So we're gonna come back to that.
Lots of pins already in this episode. Yes, we're talking about D&D anyway.
Oh yeah.
I think I really and it feels like forever ago that I watched the first season of Stranger Things. I watched it when it first came out, and I really really liked it. I responded well to it. We were in the midst of 30-year cycles, 80s craze was going on, and like that has stuck around. And in a lot of ways, Stranger Things has like been part of the mainstreaming of D&D, and like I mean, it captures also, like, people are nostalgic because they don't like, or because you wish that the world today was more like it was then, or maybe you understood it in the way you understood it then. So I'm not against 80s nostalgia. I'm not against all that. I feel like where I have had general, maybe, I don't want to say frustration with Stranger Things, but like, I feel like it's a show that in the past I felt like really struggles to carve out its own identity, because it is so much reference and it is so much like illusion, and there's these iconic 80s horror and coming of age things that they're tapping into. And I wish that they were a little more willing in the past, and we'll see how this new season goes, because I'm not going to spoil anything. I feel like they're going to tie some of this stuff in, but I feel like they, there was like, there was that really infamously poorly received episode where Eleven goes and finds like a sister, or like there's like another community. She finds like 8.
There was a girl.
5,
there was the girl who was also part of the experiments that escaped.
And my general thought on Stranger Things since then is like, I feel like that episode is like the lowest rated episode of the season, and people really didn't like it because it didn't feel like Stranger Things, and that was like I feel like a unanimous opinion back in the day about that episode. I think it was season 2 or 3. But I feel like even if people didn't like the execution of that, the wrong lessons were learned, because that was Stranger Things actually carving out an identity for the show. That was like an actual engagement in like the grander universe that had been set up. And yes, people didn't like it because it didn't tap into that 80s nostalgia, kids on bikes, yada yada. It felt very much different from that. But again, I just feel like maybe the wrong lessons were learned from that. That being said, I mean,
it was like a brief little blip of like answering a question of like, what about the other kids that were in the experiments? Yeah, what else about this world?
And it was quickly like I think removed from like relevance, to the plot, and like that being a direction for the character 11, or even just like, not saying we follow those characters, but like them popping up in other aspects of the story or something like that, we just didn't really see because I think it was received poorly. All that to say, I did watch the most recent season. Also, what's her name? Max Sadie Sink or whatever. Is that her name?
I'm only 2 episodes in also, by the way.
Oh, no. I'm not saying anything about the new season. This is all season 4.
Okay. Right.
I mean, really, I think acted her ass off in that last season. The running up that hill, that was her audition for Jean Grey. No shade. Like, I see what's going on. It's the subtle audition. And I support that for Sadie Sink, sure. I think she's a great actress, and I like her. The other actors, I'm a little less, I don't really have strong feelings about. Hesitant. There's a couple that I do that I'm not going to say, but aside from that, I feel like I'm eager to see what the show's able to deliver.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on Stranger Things after that whole spiel?
I am a big Stranger Things fan. I definitely acknowledge that, parts of it aren't exactly, the greatest part of cinema. There's definitely some times, especially kind of, I watched like this kind of like a recap video on YouTube of like, all right, like I haven't seen some of these episodes in forever. Let me get like a little recap. And it shows clips of, some of these kids when they're younger, and like some of the acting is like, yeah, it's pretty bad. But like, this is one of those things where it's not trying to like, you can tell they're not trying to give Oscar level like acting performances. It's like, all right, like then, so I'm giving its flowers where it's due in the fact of like, I am glad there is a huge show, like that's this big, in kind of like the mainstream media geist that is sci-fi. Yeah, I'm big into that. I feel like that doesn't happen every often. I feel like every so often. I feel like shows tend to go in recent memory like superhero, or it tends to go. I guess like Star, a lot of the Disney, right? So Star Wars, Marvel, but also like very like fantasy. Yeah. A lot of these shows have been riding like the Game of Thrones wave. Like this is a true kind of like a sci-fi plot. Now, whether or not how good that plot is to be decided by the viewer. But I'm just glad that it has something big as sci-fi. Second, I really enjoy. I feel like this is this generation's like Harry Potter actor and actresses. Like, I think in general, whether or not you like the show or not, I just think it's cool that there's this like growing of actors and actresses from when they were like 10 or something to now they're like 20.
Yeah.
I feel like half of the, no pun intended, the magic of Harry Potter was you felt like you were growing up with these characters. And I feel like that is this for like kids now. Like who was ever 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Is like, this is your Harry Potter.
Yeah, I will say since Harry Potter, nothing has, I think, been equivalent on that specific front, for sure.
I feel like things just always get canceled. You know? Like, it's hard to get everybody back. Like, think about that. Getting, like, because this show not only has, like, all the kids, but then they have, like, Hopper, they have Joyce, like, they have all of the older, like, 20s and 30s aged actors in it who are, like, helping the kids. Like Joe Keery, right? Is that his name? Like that's, like those aged actors and actresses. There's a ton of people that they need to be like, you're agreeing to 10 years, and that's hard to do. So and I think that's cool.
It is cool. I'm sure that their managers disagree because it has kept them from a lot of opportunities. Sure, yeah. But again, it's wrapping up. So maybe this is where we get to see the launch truly happen.
Exactly. Where their careers go next. Yeah. So I think you have to be some level of like mean or heartless to like not think that's cool. Like this is cool that all these kids are now kind of growing up and we're gonna see them hopefully do cool stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoy it. I definitely acknowledge that it's not the best like written or acted thing in the world, but like sometimes I need a show where I'm not gonna use my brain too hard and just like enjoy the wave.
Nor does it have to be groundbreaking. And my criticism, listen, I'm a hater, and I know I'm a hater. So like, I will.
You have an enemy of the pod list.
I do, a running list, and we're adding to it in a little bit. But yeah, I feel like there's like there is a cool thing about, because I feel like they're really, since this might be a hot take, I don't know, but since like the end of Game of Thrones, I feel like there isn't the show anymore. I feel like everybody is so isolated. I feel like there is not one water cooler conversation thing anymore. And for better or worse, in the world we currently live, that is Stranger Things. And I can't point to anything else that is on that level. Yeah. And because I wouldn't even say that like, Marvel movies, which I talk about, like, I don't think that that's on that level anymore. I think that it has shifted out of the mainstream thing, but Stranger Things remains. And hey, I can hate, and that doesn't take away from that.
I could say there's some things that capture it for like 6 months.
Yeah.
But like nothing like this.
In an ongoing
like for
sense.
Years. Like legit, hasn't it been like 10 years or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so, and again, that comes with its ebbs and flows, right? Like people aren't really talking about Stranger Things in the last couple years, but now that it's out, it's everybody's, into it. So yeah, I think that's exciting. A show doesn't have to be like, I guess that mainstream for it to be exciting, but I don't know. I personally enjoy that. Like everybody's like, "Oh, have you seen Stranger Things?"
Well, we're definitely going to talk about it on the podcast. So, like, I've seen the episodes that have come out. So
I've seen 2. So what did they just end with? So like Hop and spoilers, Hop and 11 are in the Upside Down. And then. Man, I can't even remember. Because he got stranded in there because, well, we know that like Vecna's back, obviously, or back, or never went away or whatever. And he got stranded. And then 11 went in because the Demogorgon came for, or did get the Wheeler child. And then they're at that like wall. That's where it ends. That like big ass wall, which I'm assuming is like protecting like some hive mind or protecting Vecna or something along those lines. So I'm sure you're sitting there, a lot more. I need to catch up.
Full disclosure, I was kind of fucked up while I was watching, so I don't know how much I can relay.
That's the thing is this show is you don't really.
It's not really even about the plot. Loki. I feel like it's about the.
You can still enjoy it even if you don't remember like every single detail.
Like you could sit somebody down and like no context for Stranger Things. Maybe they were living under a rock and put on like the running up that hill scene, and it would emotionally resonate for them because I feel like it's not about the plot. It's about the scene. It's about the emotion. I will say there is really good acting. Like I said, Sadie Sink, friend of the pod, shout out. I feel like you are a good actor.
I fucked with Eddie in season 4.
Oh yeah,
I thought he was a good actor. I thought he was.
I didn't, but I know that's me being a hater.
Oh, okay.
So I can acknowledge that's me being a hater.
I liked it. I think he captured the, misunderstood weird kid.
I think he was a good. Okay, I think he did a good job of portraying it. I think actually he probably did too good a job because I just got vibes off that character. Okay. But I and he has like a real.
Well, now's the time to talk.
Yeah, no, literally. He has like a real like cult following among women. I don't know if you've like seen that at all. Like that character, and like they wear like the Hellfire Club t-shirts and they go to conventions. You should look up. You need to look up, and there's
he's got a fan club.
But I hate to put it out there, but it's kind of like you can probably find it if you search like Eddie Munson
Yeah, Eddie Munson.
Eddie Munson fan cringe compilation. You should just
okay.
Go meander over to TikTok and maybe see a little bit of what's going on.
You don't like the aftermath of the creation.
I think there is net negative to that character existing, and I don't know how to say it otherwise.
No,
but
okay, all right, yeah, I'll have to.
But he's got again, and that's why even though I'm a hater, even though I'm gonna probably when we review this show as it continues to come out, have thoughts about the execution of things. Like, my opinion doesn't matter because Mr. Netflix just made $1 gazillion off of Stranger Things season 5. So at the end of the day, it speaks to the public. There are really good things coming out of it. I'm gonna keep shouting out Sadie Sink, and I'm excited to see. I am excited to see how they conclude it because again, the last time we did this, by my own metric, was Game of Thrones, and that was a terrible.
Fucked it up. Well, we talked about this last episode how it's hard to end series sometimes. Like, or maybe not it's hard, but the people are fucking it up. I don't know. So we'll see. And again, it's that sweet spot 5 season. You know how a lot of good shows, they have like 4 to 6 seasons,
Yeah.
So it's right in that sweet spot of like, all right, good, we'll end it sort of thing. So I don't know. I'm very curious.
Do you have any predictions you want to log for the podcast before we get to it? I think Mike and Will are going to be gay. I think they're going to end it with what's that called? Byler? We're going to do that.
Byler? Oh, like their names.
I don't actually think that, but I think it would be hilarious.
Because they did in, what was it, last season where Will kind of openly said a comment about liking him, but like he didn't. It kind of went over his head.
Yeah,
but it is like canon, because for a while people are like, "Well, I don't know."
yeah. What the show really makes me nostalgic for is 2006 gay representation. So that's that's what I'm really nostalgic about when I watch this show.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't have any again. I've seen the finale of this batch of episodes. So in terms of like predictions,
I have a prediction. It's not necessarily the ending quite yet. And I said this since the end of season 4. I think Sadie Sink's character, what's her, Max? I think she's gonna have powers. That's my guess.
Well, that would truly complete the Jean Grey audition tape.
Yes,
if she turns into if she turns into 12,
because the reason is because she had that like run in like with Vecna, and she weirdly kind of like or she did die, and then 11 like brought her back. Now she's in a coma. Now she can't feel anything. She can't see anything. And like, oh, when have we seen this before? When someone with these mental powers with the upside down needs to completely be deprived of their feelings to use their powers as like a conduit with L in the deprivation tank. I'm like, this is a perfect example of Max can still help because she's just in her own physical deprivation tank, and she can just and like help out in the upside down. I think it's going to be a crazy fucking like, it's going to be like a twist. Yeah. Like it's like you're not going to see it coming. You think someone's going to die, and then she's going to save somebody, and they're going to be like, how the fuck is this possible? And then she'll go into that person's mind and be like, it's me, Max. Like I'm saving you. I think that's, if they don't do that, they're bitches.
Yeah. Listen, I am team give her more to do. Let this acting exhibition occur.
Because why let her live?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, why? Like, and if she is alive, why put her in a coma? Why have her just kind of not a part of any of this shit? Like, You know, the only connection right now is what's his face comes and visits her every once in a while and says like, man, I really wish you were like, you know, like up and talking, and like, you know, it's sad for the kid, but like, what do we get, 2 minutes of screen time of that?
Yeah.
I think that's what's gonna happen. Or something along those lines. Maybe not exactly, but
I could see that. I think I would be shocked, I will say as a prediction, I would be so shocked if Hopper is alive at the end of the show. Because I feel like that's the
I feel like that's a good
conclusion of the
that's
arc. You know, that's not a hot take. That just feels like if he survives, I don't know what's left for him to do.
Oh, it's the classic like because they, you know how there's like they also like the directors or writers or whoever said watch these certain episodes and like you can tell there's certain things that they're flashing back to already. And they already flash back to like Hopper and like, which I completely forgot this, which I'm pretty sure is why they're like flashing back. Of he had a daughter who he lost to, I think it was cancer, right? Is like
I don't remember.
I think it was like a battle with cancer or something like that, and that's why he's all like has a soft spot for 11 when she shows up, because it's like, oh man, I had a daughter once, blah blah blah. It's the classic, I wasn't able to like save my daughter then, but like I can save you, and then like that's his perfect exit.
See, but that's if they stick to the script, because where Game of Thrones fucked up was they had the landing strip for, again, maybe predictable, but like, you know,
just give us what we want.
Like emotionally resonant conclusions, and they just said, you know what, actually we're going to prioritize, you know, gagging the audience. We're going to prioritize you not predicting this, that, or the other. So I really hope Stranger Things, it was filmed like probably 2 years ago, but stick to the script. I
think I've always been saying, and again, this is kind of like a cheap prediction, because it's very like vague, but I think it has to be like 11. Like there's got to be a moment at the end where 11's going to go like atomic, and she either like saves the squad or she doesn't. I don't know if she's going to like die or not. I mean, I could easily see them like killing her.
I can see them doing that
but
too.
Like just in general, there's going to be a time where it's like her versus like whenever we find out the twist of like what he's really got going on, and if I don't know if it's fucking Will, I don't know if she's gonna have to fight Will at some point or whatever the fuck it is. I mean, she's got her powers back. They gave them back for a reason. She lost them, got them back. She is gonna have some crazy scene where she's like, I mean, she's training. Legitimately, the first episode, she's training to be like, I'm gonna go in there like a soldier, you know. So there's gonna have to be a scene, I think, that she is going to full on like we're going to see what she can really do. And if they don't do that, I think making this like small troubled child who like can't control her powers, and then we just never see like what she could be capable of. I think that would be a bad like,
because that's what's interesting to me. It's interesting when you say like go atomic, because like I'm thinking like are you thinking more like soldier assault on like a facility or something, or are you thinking more like she's going to be
power-wise,
like ripping holes in reality between like, this and the upside down and repairing them maybe? Like,
maybe not even like reality, or maybe not some. I'm not, and again, this is why I said it's cheap, because I'm not giving specifics. But it's just going to be a moment, a scene, whatever it is, where it's like an oh shit, she's that powerful, right? Like. It's no longer just be like you're like Papa and like shoot somebody off into a haystack. It's gonna be like insane power at her fingertips.
I would love it, you know. Again, I would love if she could maybe demonstrate control of like the rips and the upside down and our like some of that would be cool. I'm down to settle for like, and again this is Netflix. You have so much money, like you can really make stuff happen. I want her like floating down onto the scene, last minute saving everybody with like a Titanic-sized ship behind her or something.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes,
like that's the level of like, and no nosebleed, because I hate when it's just too much and my nose bleeds. I hate that as a trope. Get that out of here. I can actually handle my powers, and I'm gonna throw a ship at Vecna or something. You know, like something off the chain. I agree would be very, very satisfying.
That needs to happen. Now, whether it'll happen or not, I don't know. But that's my prediction, is they need to do that.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily have to like be the last scene where it's all like solved, but we need on record that like 11's a fucking badass.
Yeah.
Because I think that'd be cool. Like you can't have this fucking super able child, and just we've kind of like it's the last season, and now she's finally older. And she doesn't like pop off,
because what was the feat last season when her powers returned? Didn't she like take out some helicopters?
She took a helicopter out of the sky and like crashed it. So like that's
we can do more.
Yeah,
we can do more.
Yeah.
That's
I
cute.
want Atomic.
That's cute. I'm a big fan also. Let's make her the supreme.
Yeah. So let's see. All right, we've had enough Stranger Things, but maybe in the future here, once more of these episodes come out and we're both caught up. Maybe we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's something we had to bring up because we kind of talked on it. My other stuff's very short. Just an update on me playing Arc Raiders.
Oh yeah.
Actually, like conversing with people. I did play. What was it? Yesterday, or the day before. Sorry if you can hear that. That was my cat trying to take the door off the hinges.
she wants to get in real bad.
Yeah. So yeah, Arc Raiders, I've talked in the past about, it's strange for me sometimes to like socially interact with strangers online.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I've just like, it's never like been appealing to me. But this game I'm kind of using it as like, okay, this could be fun. Right. So I did some solo games where I was talking to just some random people like within like the world. That comes with both its good and bads. Like there's been times where, like someone tries to like kill me and then it's like, I'm kind of like, what the fuck, like what are we doing here? Then I try to kill them sort of thing. That's kind of fun because we're both just kind of like yelling at each other. There's times where people are nice. So like I'm still new to the game. So I've like asked them like, oh yeah, like I saw a guy like completing something, like he's putting a thing, like a box into like a mechanical device. And I'm like, yeah, so like what does that do, blah blah blah, like, and he was like helpful. I've even like band together, like you have to extract from this game, like so you go into the battle zone essentially, for a lack of a better words, and you have to like get gear. You can kill other people if you want. You can you theoretically do whatever you want with other people. There are these like AI robots who are trying to like kill you, and then you're trying to get out, you're trying to like survive. And I remember the one time it's getting, because there's a timer and it's getting down to like the wire, like we only have like 5 more minutes and we got to get out. And there were these 2 guys like kind of being pinned down at like there's like an elevator that'll take you back down to like safety, and they're kind of being like attacked from like all angles by these like robots. And I also need to like leave, and there's times where people like they call it like extract camping, where people will wait at an extract and like try to pick you off and take all your stuff and then leave. So there's times where like I'm very like hesitant to be like, all right, like I need to make sure I got to get out here safely. But I saw these people like under fire, so I'm like, I put my mic on, I was like, I'm coming, and I like ran in, I like helped them like shoot the robots because the robots weren't focused on me. So like I came and I kind of like saved them, and then I was like, hold the elevator for me, and they did, and then like we all got out safe. So I was like, and they were like, oh, like nice, like it was like a good little like interaction, right? So then I played with my friend, and we also we started, when you do co-op, it's a lot more like confrontational. People start feeling like you have like a squad, and it's like we must kill the other squads. It's crazy kind of how psychologically that works, because you don't have to do that. So then we were in like in a lobby where a lot of people are fighting. We somehow like almost make it out alive after all this fighting, and then right at the end these robots like got us. And it was right towards the extract center, and we're like crawling towards the thing, and these 2 guys were already in it, and they could have just left us. Like they could have just went to safety, but they decided to like come out a little bit and fend off these things that were like going to try to kill them too. And they held the line until we crawled in, and then they took us all to safety. And we were like, please, like please,
wow,
let us in. And they're like, okay. And they're like,
I just think it's interesting because I feel like what is centered in every like review / conversation that you like have about this is the camaraderie and brotherhood, which I have never heard about any other online game ever. I feel like that is not
Yeah, no, it
something especially you playing solo. Like you're not even going in as like a duo and
I was
like
playing
linking up with other duos. Like you're organically finding.
Yeah, I did also play with two other people who knew each other because they spawned into the game at the same time. Because I was like, I should go with like a random squad and we should all talk. But they spoke Spanish and I do not speak Spanish, so that was tough. There was a lot of like pinging and trying to like communicate not with language.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was still like all right. But I haven't had like the on my team sort of like camaraderie, I guess. That's like a random person. But yeah, and I think on the flip side of that, when you do get into a fight with someone, like when it's like someone tries to like backstab you or just in general, they see you and they're like, oh, fuck that guy, I'm going to shoot him. It makes it 10 times more like, oh, fuck this guy, you know?
Yeah.
Like because like everybody, you've had these nice interactions where everybody like teams up together. So when you meet people in the wild that want to kill you, it's like, oh no, it's on, you know? Like you take it like way more personally. So yeah, I don't know. I've been enjoying it and I'm forcing myself to try to be more social. Even if it's me just like walking up to a person and be like, hello, like hi. Like that's like me most of the time. I'll walk up and like they'll kind of look at me and I'll just be like hi and they'll be like, hey, like you cool or something. Like yeah, you know, just like like it, even if it's something simple as that, I still try to like talk to people. So that's something I've been enjoying. I'll keep updating, we'll see. And lastly, just super short, GameStop has Pokemon, it's for a lack of a better word, Pokemon slots now. Like gambling.
Like for cards? Or
yes.
like...
So what it is you pick a tier. It's anywhere from $25 is like the lowest one to $2,500 is the largest one. And you just click it and you can just say spin the fucking wheel. And it'll just, and it
We're talking physically in store?
No, it's on their website.
I don't think it should be legal to spend $2,500 at GameStop. That's personally under my regime, that's not allowed. Because the fuck.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Well, because this is gonna go into my recommendation of the week. It's something to do with GameStop, but when I was on their website, I realized. I was like, this is insane because I saw it on Reddit first, actually. Someone was like, look at this. Like I got the chase card in like the 25, someone spent the 2,500 and the chase card is like a Gengar card that's worth like 33 grand. And he's like, I got it. And what they do is GameStop has it. Like they're a casino now, essentially, with trading cards. It's like baseball, like Pokemon. So they have these physical cards. And what you can do right on the spot is you can choose to sell it back to GameStop for 90% of the cost. So that guy, I think, chose to sell it back. So like 90% of whatever 33 grand is, he just instantly got from GameStop.
Oh my God.
Or they'll send you that card, whatever you like spun the wheel for, right? So people are now just gambling, like legitimately, it's slots.
How do you report 90% of $33,000 on your taxes?
It's just gambling. I think it'd be under the gambling section
Jesus
of taxes.
Christ.
Yeah. And so yeah, something feels so wrong about that, and I just had to bring it up. I was like, this is insane.
Yeah.
And they have, because it's gambling, they have to show you the stats on like what the odds are to like achieve certain like monetary values. So like on the $25 one, well, I've noticed all of them have all the same like stats, and it's 25% chance you're going to get something that's worth what you paid or more. 25% chance.
Okay.
So you have 1 in 4, so that is losing odds. Like 75% of the time, you're not making money, you're losing money on. So it's like you have 40% chance in the $25 one to get a card that's worth like 12 to like 19 bucks. And then you have like a 15% chance to get one that's like 20 through 25 or whatever it is. They show you like the statistics because they have to, because that's a law. Like you have to like show that, provide the stats on it. And yeah, so that is, you can just go right on the website and it's connected to PSA, which is like the grading company. And
I was gonna say there has to be some sort of like formal body even in terms of like
it's
that.
That's and I saw people justifying it on Reddit. They're like, dude, this is way better than like spending like $1,000 on packs. Like just, you know, hoping you might get a good card, and then you'd have to go grade it. But like this, you can just spend $1,000 and actually get like a decent card. I'm like, dude, this is
we are so cooked. We are so lost. Oh my god.
Yeah, no. So people are fully gambling on GameStop.com. So
I didn't know about that. I was like 1% more optimistic before you told me that. But you know, hey, that I think it makes sense. I feel like we're going to see more stuff like that, low key, from these like, especially companies like GameStop, where GameStop, your time is limited because everything's happening online now. PlayStation Network is making more than you, I'm sure. So I don't know. I'm curious to see.
Oh, had something fall out
Something
there.
fell.
We do it live, please. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I don't know. I'm sure. I'm imagine you have to be 18 or older. 18 or older to do it. But I can see kids trying to get mom and dad to throw the credit card on the back. I want to do the $100 like thing, and they get like a $20 fucking card. Oh my god!
Listen,
right, well.
you have to be 18 or older for now.
For now, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. Those are my topics of the week. I took a lot of time there.
My topics of the week, nothing too big. I will say I saw headlines today, and it's so hard to tell what's real and what's fake with any like MCU announcements these days. I saw a thing where I saw reputable outlets reporting on this, but I think there was some sort of like Disney event in there was a Disney event in Italy where they were like Avengers Doomsday, and they laid out like the cast of all these, or like the makeup of these teams, because it's very much like the Avengers, the New Avengers, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and then Wakandans were their own category.
Okay.
And
it's like officially from Marvel.
Yeah, and this was like, it was like a casting thing.
From
so
Walt
like,
Disney's casket himself.
Listen, according to the sources that I saw today, they had like full on like lineup. I'll show you. But like of this, and this looks real. Again, I don't.
So
think this
all
is
these
AI.
people are going to be in Doomsday.
Yes, because it's like it's the big thing. So Fantastic Four. I just am going to do a woman count for everybody here because I feel like that's important.
Okay.
Because so we have the Invisible Woman of the Fantastic Four, Vanessa Kirby.
Yep.
We have Shuri's actress Letitia Wright, Black Panther. We have Florence Pugh, and I should know how to say your name, but I don't know how to say it. I don't know the name of the actress for Ghost from Thunderbolts, but they are here.
Okay. Oh, I still need to watch that.
Yes, I do think you should watch that movie.
Yeah.
We have Rebecca Romaine as Mystique, classic Mystique from the X-Men movies, you know? And that's it, as a woman in these movies, in this movie that's coming out. And I just think it's so funny because, I don't know if I know you were probably online at the time, but like around the time that like Infinity War came out, and I would say the MCU was at its peak. You know, they released Captain Marvel. They released like that Black Widow movie. Letitia Wright became Black Panther in the wake of Chadwick Boseman's passing. Yeah. And there was this like narrative of the MCU where everything is getting like feminized, and everything is getting like we're you know making this more about women than like the primary demographic, which is boys and men. Yeah. And I just think it's so funny, like, to look at where we're at now, where there are 5 women, and this ties into what I actually want to talk about with this, where it's like, the X-Men lineup in this movie was Patrick Stewart, Charles Xavier, Ian McKellen, Magneto, Mystique, Rebecca Romaine, Gambit, Channing Tatum, which I've gone into that already. You know what I do? I do have a fresh thought about Channing Tatum before I continue. I will say Channing Tatum is the Gambit that the MCU deserves, and that's that's my observation there. Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler will be there. He will be reprising that role.
Oh, really? Wow.
Host of Traitors. 3
nights in the castle.
Yeah. And you know, I like him, and listen, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, iconic portrayals of those characters. They're what the public think of. You know, I'm not coming for that, but the fact that we're getting MCU in live action on the big screen, and at least according to this, maybe they'll do like a, you know, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield thing, and like, oh, we're not in it. But there's no Jean, there's no Storm, there's no Psylocke, there's no Emma. there's no me. I'm good. Like, y'all can keep it. The fact that we're even comfortable doing this with like the leading lady of the X-Men being Mystique is insanity to me. That is like the craziest thing. And I'm a huge fan of Mystique as a character. I'm going to get into that in a sec. But we really have removed the women.
This might be a very just uneducated thing on my part. Are the X-Men heavily tied to like Doctor Doom and like Doomsday, or
so no, but so in the comics, so this I mean, this isn't spoilers, this is free and open speculation about what
been
we're
there
doing.
for years.
But well, yes, and there's comics, but you know, Avengers Doomsday is the first one of the two parts, and then the second part is Secret Wars. And what 2015 Secret Wars in the comics was, which I think is what this is, was the culmination of the story of Avengers at the time, New Avengers at the time, which was about realities colliding across the Omniverse. So
you can see they're teeing that up.
Well, and that's what this is, and so that's why we're even getting the old X-Men, right? Because their universe is on a collision course for ours, and that's what's going on. And so, like, I think
they didn't have enough money. That has to be what it is.
Well, and you know, I think also they're afraid to commit to new actors because you know, first of all, I wish Storm was there. I don't think Halle Berry really should play Storm again because I think we need to shift the energy around that character in a new direction. She did the thing. I really like her performance in X2. I think was the strongest I think she was at. But like, and she was the leading lady of the third one, and I think she did the job. But we're ready to move on to something new, and I just really wish that even though they're afraid to commit to what the aftermath of this is, because we're gonna get spoiler if you care, I guess, but like this movie Avengers Doomsday is ending with reality ending. Like that's what's gonna happen. Like we're gonna see all these characters die either before or when the realities collide. And then in the wake of that, Doctor Doom at the end of Doomsday, and what Secret Wars is about is him attaining ultimate power that he uses to take remnants of each reality to form Battle World, his new world that he is God King over. So that's what we're building toward. Again, if you're mad about that, be mad at a comic book that came out 10 years ago. I like the idea, and I really like that story, Secret Wars, and I feel like there's a way to do this. I just really wish there was more feminine energy aside from... And I like Vanessa Kirby, Invisible Woman, but like I wish there was more going on, you know? That being said, I loved Mystique. This is my second topic for Weekly Thoughts. But I don't think I've really talked about like X2, the second X-Men movie from back in the day. I'm sure you've seen it, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, because that's like... That ties into like what X-Men First Class and like
so there was the original trilogy.
Yep.
And like that, you know, where Rebecca Romaine, who I want to really highlight in my conversation because I feel like I'm dogging around.
You don't
a little
like
bit.
the Olivia Munn store?
Olivia Munn was Psylocke.
Psylocke?
I don't. And actually, when I activated, it was Alexandra Shipp, and that's actually an enemy of the pod, bitch. Actually, sorry. Listen, I liked you as an actress before you started talking about certain things. Started talking about, you know. Also,
I knew I'd get something with that cast.
Olivia Munn, I don't have necessarily a problem with as Psylocke. I guess I kind of do because Psylocke in the comics has this complicated origin, which I think I've talked about on this podcast a little bit, of being like, you know, a white British woman who was body swapped with a Japanese assassin lady. And then her original body, the Japanese assassin lady died in. So then she's just a white British woman in a Japanese body, which is obviously problematic. So their solution for that was to cast, as the sexy ninja, a half white, half Asian woman. And I'm like, that doesn't feel like truly what this could be. But I understand it was logic of 2014 or whatever. Y'all can
They thought they were doing something there.
Y'all can have that. But I loved Rebecca Romaine as Mystique so much more than Jennifer Lawrence. Also, again, sorry. I'm really outlining how I feel about each of these women individually. But I feel like what Rebecca Romaine's portrayal of Mystique, if you remember, she was the naked, you know, reptile version of that character. You know, she had like the scales, and the scales would go up, and that was part of the transformation. She wasn't like that in the comics before that, the movie. Like that was a choice made by enemy of the Bryan Singer, who directed those movies. And again, I'm not going to get into why I don't like Bryan Singer.
That'll be said at least 5 more times before. Before you finally officially bring it up.
Won't get into why I don't like him. The documentary in a few years will say it all. So
quote it now.
But
clip it now.
But Rebecca Romijn's Mystique is genuinely like one of the best things to come out of. And X2 is one of my favorite movies, but our favorite superhero comic book like superhero movies. I loved her portrayal because, and I've seen her talk about it, because she was a model before anything. She wasn't necessarily an actress. So what she brought to that role, where Mystique is, you know, in that movie more so like kind of a silent henchman to Magneto, which she never really was in the comics, but I can forgive it because she brought, I think, in the way that models, when they act, are often like kind of awkward. They don't have a natural like ease of interaction that like maybe an actor who like has done this for a while has falls into. But she played that so well and integrated it into her portrayal of the character, where Mystique is kind of always posed. She's kind of always like moving a little inhumanly or a little like, you know, pose wise.
It almost looks a little off, and that's like the point.
Yes, and she didn't have a lot of lines in that movie, but there's the one scene with Nightcrawler, which I reflect on so much, because Bryan Singer sucks, but there are things about X-Men that I do feel like he really fundamentally gets. And you know, when Nightcrawler comes to her while they're like they're camping between like the second and third acts of the movie, and says like, you know, you have the, this is my Alan Cumming Nightcrawler impression, everyone. But you know, you have the power to look, I don't know what that accent was. You have the power to look like
I'm done with that.
You have the power to look like them.
Like, why don't you?
Why don't you just walk around looking human all the time? And her answer is immediate: because we shouldn't have to. And like that resonated. That, like, as a child, I think before you really start to understand like what X-Men really is about and all that, I feel like that is like, for that being like probably that character's only line in that movie, I remember it to this day. And I really hope that with her returning to this role in Avengers Doomsday, which I'm a supporter of again, I like you, girl. I just wish Storm and Jean were there too. I'm excited to see kind of what she brings, you know. Again, I think there's like 100% chance that she dies. Like, there's no doubt. But I love that she's back. I love that it's not J-Law. Jennifer Lawrence, you're fine. You're Katniss. Can't take that from you. But you are not Mystique. You're not Mystique. The version of Mystique in those like first class movies.
I thought she was kind of not the right fit for that as well.
No, and they wanted...
Hot take. I think I said this already before. I'm not a Jennifer Lawrence fan. Like,
I go back and forth on that one.
Yeah, I am not. I don't know. I mean, even her as Katniss, I like kind of didn't fuck with her as Katniss.
I think it should have been. It should have been somebody other than her for Katniss. But it is, and that's where I'm like, that's girl, you got the role. What are two dudes on a podcast? Also, two dudes on a podcast saying they don't like Jennifer Lawrence. I'm sure that's never happened before. That's
exactly. Also, I'm just realizing my other actor or actress not a big fan of was Florence Pugh. So I gotta re-up and I gotta start shitting on some men.
Yeah.
Sure. I just realized I did it back to back. But
my final thought, I just wanted to talk a little bit about like my thoughts on this movie as like it seems to come together. And again, I'm sure I'll see this movie in theaters. I'm sure that I will enjoy aspects of it. It's adapting Secret Wars 2015, which is one of my favorite kind of big, massive. It's an event that feels massive. Like, it's an event that feels, I mean, there's such tragedy right at the beginning as reality's ending, and like that what they did in the comics at the time, I maybe have said this before, but like they every comic that Marvel was publishing at the time ended by tying into Secret Wars, and you saw what each character did in like the last 10 minutes before the planets collided.
Oh wow.
And it is genuinely, it's one of those things that they're not going to be able to pull off in a movie to the degree that it was pulled off in the comics. But I feel like those comics, and just seeing some people, you know, Magneto incinerated himself using his magnetism to keep the planets at bay, and he just fully burned up in the end, and died.
Just too much energy,
but died a hero, and that was part of his conclusion in that comic that was coming out. And I'm like, that's what we have the opportunity to do. We have the opportunity to make really definitive, strong character choices in the conclusion of,
in their last moments.
And you don't get that opportunity all the time. So I want good things.
You're like, don't fuck it up.
Don't fuck it up, because it could be not as impactful as it should be very easily. So, and I still hate the Robert Downey Jr. casting as Doom. So that's my final observation.
Maybe that's one we do for for maybe one of your hot takes or something.
Yeah.
Because that's something where I feel like we could go like a pretty long time on. But I also am very confused with that. I'm just like, why the fuck do they? But what? We table that. And we bring that for next time.
Definitely.
Dive into that.
Because that's my full hot topics. I know typically at this point in the podcast, we transition into hot takes. There have been many hot takes.
Which I'm kind of realizing now in the realm of what this podcast is about, like the topics, like video games, movies, like it is just the breeding ground for hot takes.
Yeah.
Because I feel like everybody like has their like couple fandoms that they're into, right? Mm-hmm. And it's to the point where nobody's gonna like everything. That's just for a fact.
Not what it is.
Right? Some things are just not gonna be for some people, whatever it is. But you gotta think, in the realm of what we're talking about, there are diehard people for everything we're talking about. So theoretically, anything we say, it could be a hot take.
And if you're mad, comment below.
Yeah. Yeah, start some shit.
Yeah. If we get one comment, I will revisit my Alan Cumming Nightcrawler. I will. If we get one comment, you will hear it again. I stopped myself, but
yeah. Well, that's funny. But yeah, what Derek was saying here is we do after the topics of the week. Because I think originally when we first started, things were pretty, like not too in detail. We were just kind of getting our footing, and we never said some like crazy off the wall shit like right out the gate. We're like, we should have a little section for that. Mm-hmm. So this is now the part of the podcast where we each bring at least one hot take into so we at least every episode get some sort of rage bait like clicks, I guess. I don't know. Something to fire people up. I guess so far we haven't gotten each other on them yet. I feel like there hasn't been one where I'm like, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah, we haven't really disagreed.
That day will eventually come.
Yeah, maybe today.
Who knows? I feel like I need to like purposely, not like pick one that is like after you, but I need to purposely do one for like Marvel.
Yeah.
And then like, who knows? I could say it and be like, oh, you're like, I totally agree. But like, that's one of your big fandoms. So if I have a hot take from there's a higher chance that you're going to be like, oh, you're fucking crazy, I
think the closest we got before you get into it to disagreeing was you thought that the Silver Surfer in the Fantastic Four movie
I think that might have been
her surfing on the wormhole and the lava was corny, and that was our first fight, everyone. Wow. Our first major disagreement.
We made it out on the other side.
Let's find out what our second major disagreement is today.
Well, I guess since I already put a pin in it, you said earlier, and I loved how you said this. You said it perfectly. You said, I am not hating on this just because it's big and popular. And you proceeded to have an opinion, right? You had your own opinion, and like you gave your reasons why. And when people argue and about hot takes and everything, or what they like and don't like, it's one thing to actually have a solidified, dig your heels in the ground opinion versus, some people are just like, oh, they like it because it's popular, right? Or what I'm talking about is on the flip side, I hate when, let me see what I got written down here. Going against the grain because something is popular is the same vibe as the people you are shitting on for just liking things that are popular. So like, it's like the other side of that coin. Like if you're mad that people are like, oh, you just like that because it's like the big popular thing, not because you have an opinion. And your only reason you hate shit is because it's like the big thing and it's mainstream is the same thing. Yeah. It's like the same thing you're bitching about. And I feel like time and time again, I just interact or just see posts or whatever it is, you can tell like people, and sometimes they just will blatantly say it, but a lot of people just happen to 99 times out of 100, their opinion is always like shitting on mainstream things. Yeah. Have your own opinion. It's okay to like some things that are mainstream. Everyone will at least once in their life. It's okay to like mainstream things. That is my like hot take. I do agree, and I maybe to jump on and contribute an additional thought there. I feel like
I saw something that was like, it was talking about this in the context of Taylor Swift's latest album, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like people, I mean, I don't want to say it was universally disliked, but like I think there was more of a negative reaction to like a big album than, at least among people I follow. And I listen, I follow people who like Taylor Swift, you know? Like I follow people of myriad, whatever. I keep up with conservative pundits. I like to know what people are saying, even if we don't agree.
Why did that give me the vibes of like I have a friend who's black.
Mm-hmm. I have black friends.
I am friends with people who like Taylor.
I am friends. No, I hear that. I was mainly saying it in the context of like, I like to seek out information from people that I like really fundamentally disagree with, because I like to know the perspective. And I feel like a lot of people didn't like that album, but I feel like there's something to people like defining themselves by their dislike of something. Which if you're doing that, like honestly sit and think, because you should never define anything going on here in opposition to anything else. Like you gotta have like an organic, you know, want and connection to something. But I also feel like there's like this thing where people feel the need to like pathologize why they don't like something in order to reach like an objective truth. You know, like it's like it's not, and I say this like knowing, I think we need to analyze media. I think we have to talk about media. I think we have to talk about all that.
And that's why we're here.
No, we have to review and we have to engage, but I think sometimes it's used more to shut down a conversation than it is to open one up. And it's like, I saw a lot of surface level takes about Taylor Swift. You know, this album is a little more trad wife vibe. Like there's it's also, I think, the first album where she's like, I'm in a relationship and I'm happily doing that and I'm engaged and yada yada. I think that's the thing. But I feel like a lot of people look at that and they're like, well, I don't like this album, and I feel like it's this return to traditional values and it represents and it's indicative of this larger thing. And it's like, I'm not saying that it's not true, and I'm not saying you can't do that, but I feel like when you say stuff like that, you have to, there still has to be a willingness to engage. Like, I'm not on the internet saying that about Taylor Swift's album because I'm not a fan. And I didn't listen to the album all the way through. But like, for that reason, I'm not going to try to seek grand truths out of my dislike of this thing. Which I feel like a lot of people are doing, if that makes sense. I think a lot of people are like...
That's a good way of explaining it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think... Exactly. Either certain people or demographics are definitely doing that a lot. I feel like in the last 5 to 10 years than ever before. Especially with like social media. And it is very easy. Like, I guarantee you a lot of those people never even listen to a song. Right. You know, they just want to chime in on this shit, you know?
That's maybe the semi-hot take is like, in order to be a hater, like truly a hater, this is why I'm a hater. Because in order to be a hater, you have to watch it.
You gotta give it a go. You have to give it a go.
You have to engage. If you're hating from outside the club, like you didn't really engage or read it or watch it or hear or listen to it, then it's hot air. It's masturbatory. You know what I mean?
You brought that up, the hating outside the club. It's like, you're just hating because you didn't get in.
No, but it's
you
literally,
didn't even try.
It's hating to hate. You know what I mean? It's just to scratch that itch internally of like, I don't like Taylor Swift, and that it validates my identity somehow. Like that's
it's just like you said, hate to hate. So yeah, my big thing is just reevaluate if you feel maybe you have felt these things before. Maybe even if you have a friend, and you know, I don't know. I just feel like some people just need to be told, hey, it's okay sometimes to like something that's mainstream. It's okay, as long as you have an opinion on it. You know? Yeah. And as long as you give it a go, and you can hate on it, like if you actually give it a go, but don't just hate on people because they like mainstream shit. Don't just hate on, you know, Taylor Swift fans just because it's it's just the fucking mainstream, you know.
Or Stranger Things.
Or Stranger Things. Like
I think you should. I mean, maybe watch it or don't. But like, if you're not gonna watch it, you can't you can't write a thesis statement on Stranger Things' impact in society if you haven't watched it, you know. But again, we're in a hot take epidemic.
I was just thinking about, because one of my hottest takes, I think, of the last decade is that I did not enjoy Game of Thrones. And I was talking to somebody about this, and I know the reactions I'm going to get. And I'm not like, I'm never a hater towards like, you know, the people who watch it or anything. I'm just like, look, like, it's just not for me. And I forget who I was talking to this like past week, but I was explaining it kind of why I didn't like it. And the first thing they asked me, well, did you watch it? And I'm like, yes. I was like, well, I technically didn't watch every single episode, but I watched like a majority episode. I'd say like 50 to 75% of the episodes.
Yeah.
And that to me is definitely giving it like a good enough go.
Yeah.
Most of it was like through like watching with friends and stuff. Like it was something which I do enjoy when there's like a big hype event and it's like, hey, we're all gonna get together and watch on Sunday. So sometimes I just be like, well, that's what everybody else is doing. I'm gonna go watch the Game of Thrones episode. But yeah, I like how you said you need to try it. You need to give it a go to be a hater, and then hate away. Hate. So yeah, what is your hot take then? That's mine.
Oh, my hot take also will take up less time because I feel like I gabbed through your hot take as well. But I can't remember if I said this before because after I wrote it down, I'm like, maybe I already said this, but I don't think I did actually. Have I gotten on my Bring Back Love Triangles thing already?
I don't think so. I don't think.
Well, then Bring Back Love Triangles. That's my hot take. I think love triangles are like
good tension.
Yeah, and I just feel like the public got introduced like formally to the idea of like, you know, critiquing love triangles through Twilight like 15, 20 years ago. And since then, I feel like there's just this like total adverse reaction to love triangles as a concept. When I feel like in fiction, it's actually really valuable because first of all, I think every character does need to be treated kind of equal respect, equal level, like by like the creatives. Like there needs to be genuine investment in all characters involved. But also, it's not just about romantic tension a lot of the time. It's about really core aspects of all these characters that are being negotiated, and like the romantic aspect is really just one layer of like a deeper thing that's going on. And I just feel like there is not openness to the boon of like a love triangle in a story anymore. I feel like people are very anti and negative and like, oh, like Twilight, and it's so lazy. I see people describe it as like a lazy trope, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, it can be lazy. Like any trope can be lazy, you know. Like a father, you know, finding, you know, old grizzled man and young adopted, you know, daughter is a trope that has been done to death. But like that's the challenge, like, is that you find a new twist on it, or you find a new angle that like maybe hasn't been done in this specific way. And I just want that same openness applied again to love triangles, because I feel like love triangles are just hated.
I will say the thing that popped into mind, because I was like, have I seen anything recently? Huge numbers, and this is the kind of show where, you know, I can easily see it having its haters, but there was a big like movement. Like I'm talking not always, but mostly it was like women flocking to bars to see the weekly release. The Summer I Turned Pretty.
Oh,
that whole fucking thing is just one giant love triangle, and that did numbers. That did add. So maybe you're onto something. Maybe people are yearning for the love triangle. Well, and also, it doesn't have to be the whole point. It doesn't have to be like the entire script is that, like it is that show. But
also, I don't know why people act like love triangles don't happen every day in real life. Like, I don't know why people don't act like, and maybe it's not a love triangle, but like, we are a society that really prioritizes a connection between two people as like, that's the peak, and that's like the most fulfillment you're ever going to get out of a relationship. And naturally, like, I don't know, like people's attention is going to stray, not even in a cheating way, but just in like we exist in the world with a lot of people on a scale from really hideous to really hot. And I feel like even within that, there are people you meet in your day-to-day.
I just want to clip it. Sorry to interrupt. I just want to clip of that.
We should get the timestamp for that, actually.
Just that statement, nothing else.
But, like, listen, lines blur between friendship and romantic, and especially for people who are single and negotiating that in a general sense. Those stories deserve representation. And we need to acknowledge, like, the realities of hardship of dating.
If you're single right now and you're talking to somebody and you don't think that they're not talking to somebody else, I would call you naive. But that's just a love triangle that you don't know you're a part of.
People are legit brain broken by Disney movies, I hate to say, and like the general like True Love's Kiss, Valentine's Day, capitalism, money in the jar. You know what I mean? Like there is a lot of factors that present certain narratives to people, and I just feel like love triangles, it's not the end all be all, you know, but like let's really start to get into honest explorations of the trials of romantic, you know, attraction and dating. I feel like that's more so what it's about. It's less about love triangles, although again, I just feel like if you remember Twilight coming out, I feel like people were so hard on Twilight for so many reasons, and I just
it was a phenomenon.
I'm not defending Twilight across the board, but I feel like
here, like, make it be known, we're not talking about Twilight right now.
We're not.
I'm not making my official statement.
But bring back love triangles and bring back real love triangle, not a love triangle where there's not even really like. Because again, I think that's the other problem where it is kind of cheap and lazy, where there's a clear option.
Yeah,
right?
That's the problem. There's never a point where you feel like, wow, this is really like complicated and like which way is it going to go? I think that's a take where that will bring up good like conversation, and then it's something that I don't think people are even like on their radar, and then once they start to talk about it, then people are going to realize if they align with that or not, and then like it's a what, you know, when you like just take the hot sauce and it's not hot right away, and then it takes a little bit, and you're like, oh shit, like that's people receiving that. They're gonna be like, wait a minute, so how do I feel about like love triangles? And then all of a sudden they're like, wait, no, I actually, I don't like that, or I do like that.
I know. I feel like my hot takes sometimes are a little too like cerebral, like brain over heart, where you're like, Gengar sucks, you know, and
Gengar's a bitch. Haunter's my guy.
Yeah, like I feel like I gotta figure out the hot takes. I don't know. We'll revisit that. Obviously.
We should have a body switch moment where I do the
that'd be so
logical
fun,
one, and then you do the
a podcast where we act like each. Okay, let's stop talking. Let's stop talking about that, because that might happen. So
that would be good. Or maybe that's something we do reoccurring every like 2 months or something.
Yeah.
Because then we'll have new content.
Exactly.
To riff on, it's like famous like actors and actresses doing like the oh my god, I'm blanking. You know, you just forget a word. Not renditions.
Impersonations.
Yeah. Renditions. But yeah, that would be fun. I think you know, what I'm saying is I don't know if it's that hot of a take, because I don't think there's anybody out there who just like heard that and they're like, I fucking hate love triangles.
No, literally.
I think it's a good like. I think that's like good discussion, because that's something that isn't, like you said, it's not prevalent as much as maybe it should be, because that's, you know, I feel like that's been huge at one point. All right, speaking of
we're weirdly
kind of dissecting each other and kind of thinking about how the other person is. For those listening for the first time or you just don't remember, every week we do a prompt, something that is not just us rambling, which you've just witnessed for the past like hour or whatever it is.
Yeah, we've really been going off today, but
this at least is structured, and we have one kind of cool topic that we want to talk about every week. It's always random. It's, you know, doesn't have to relate to any of the other topics we talk about. And our prompt this week, since we're both avid D&D players, and our D&D group where we live, because I have multiple ones. I have one from where I'm from and one here where we live. We're getting back together this week to play. So D&D is on the mind. Prompt is, if we had to assign each other a D&D class, what would it be and why?
And this is, to be clear, based on what we know about each other, yada yada.
You want me to go first or you go first?
I just talked, so you go first.
All right. I have chosen, and this has nothing to do with the fact that you are currently playing this class. I have chosen the monk for you.
Okay.
And this is, I don't know if you like that or not.
I have to hear the reasoning.
This is why. One thing about anybody who knows Derek, I feel like there's a consensus that Derek kind of has like an aura about him. People, without even knowing it, kind of like, they confide in you. I think people are very open to whatever energy you're kind of putting out. That to me translates heavily more to monk than it is something like a cleric or like paladin. And I'm also kind of muddling in maybe like some other pieces of media as like portrayals of like monks. But you have that aura. I feel like you generally are a person that is like always like helping others. And but then I have you're absolutely willing to throw hands.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like I've heard you many times be like bitches will get hit, you know? Like, and I feel like that's like, to me, I can't think of any other class that is that perfect like balance of like, you know, because I don't know, I wouldn't put that towards like cleric, because cleric would be like, no, like that's like very like kind of one way about it, but yours is almost like a yin and yang to it. It's like that's the one. The main thing was like kind of your aura and like how you like people. I just feel like people generally are just like just gravitate towards you and like, oh yeah, I'll talk to this guy, and like, you know, even if it's not confiding in you, just like having a conversation. I feel like anytime we're at a party or like some event and there's people who like you're just meeting for the first time, I feel like you are always like, bam, one-on-one, like having a conversation with somebody, right? And that gives me very like monk energy. I feel like monks like kind of vibe with everybody. So yeah, that's and you'll slap a hoe, you know.
and I watch baddies, you know. That's also present.
Yeah, so that's kind of that.
I see it.
Is that? Do you see that or do you hate that?
I see that. No, okay. I genuinely see that, and in a weird way, I'm like, because I'll tell you what I thought you were going to say in a second, but like it does really align, actually. And that just does make sense to me. I thought you were going to say sorcerer. I don't know. I don't know right, I think because I was thinking about, I'm thinking of myself through the lens that you see me, and I'm thinking about like, you know, I do pseudo therapy, so there's like I guess like a charisma sort of thing going on. Not to call myself charismatic,
which again I think what I said does have like a lot of charisma involved.
But and also listen, wisdom is my highest stat. I'll take it. You know,
I think people would call you wise. I would imagine.
Thank you.
I could easily see that.
Turns out
you can be a charismatic monk. That's
true.
Anything's possible.
That's true. I feel like there's a subclass that kind of centers that and focuses on that.
Oh yeah. So. All right. Well, I truly have no idea what you're going to say here.
I have like an answer that like I have two technically. So maybe this is a multi-class situation. I don't know.
Yeah. It could be. Yeah.
Because I feel like there is actually weird, maybe not stat-wise, but there is synergy between these classes.
Okay.
My first one is, I just think of you as like a problem solver. I think of you as being very like, you're like intelligent, but also very like, you channel it into actually fixing things. I said artificer as my first kind of knee-jerk reaction.
I can see that. Yeah.
You know?
Well, but like, I'm also an engineer by like, job.
Yes,
which also probably helps towards that.
But you legit like have built like around so many things. Like you're like, oh well, I want to like, you know, build like this really complex shallow gardening thing and like just do that because you have the capability and you are a problem solver in that way. And like I feel like your entire house is kind of like decked out smart house vibes because you have that commitment to problem solving and just making things more efficient. So that's like my first answer, but like I think what my actual answer is number two, and I also want to hear what you thought I was going to say.
Okay.
If you had a guess, I don't think
I had a guess, to be honest.
But I feel like the real answer is that you're a bard because I feel like you are like
once you started saying artificer, because I don't think I thought about it before we talked, but when you said you have a second one, I was like, it's gotta be because if you're touching on the building stuff and the whole like analytical side, it's got to be something social, so it's got to be bard. That's what I was thinking.
You are a connector. You bring people together. You like to entertain. You do voices. You are vaguely musical. I've seen you strum a ukulele every now and then.
I have put a tune up a couple times.
Yeah. And I just feel like if there is a synthesis of artificer bard, that is what kind of captures your essence, maybe your two sides a little bit.
You know, it's crazy. So some of the people listening are a part of my campaign from growing up, and we've been playing for many, many years now. I've had a lot of characters come and go. Right now, my two highest level characters, and they're also my two favorite, one is an artificer and one's a bard. That's actually crazy.
That's a little spooky.
Philippe the bard.
These are active characters?
Yes, they're still alive right now. Yes. And they're both level, I want to say 8 or 9.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. And Philippe the bard and Taxi the artificer. Taxi the tabaxi.
I was going to ask if Taxi
yeah,
the tabaxi. That makes sense.
That makes sense. So yeah, that's once you said that, I was like, wait a minute, those are my 2 guys. Those are my. So yeah, that's
pretty
cool.
That sums it up. If I was gonna say you didn't have a thought of what I was gonna say, but
I didn't beforehand, but after you said artificer, and then you kind of said like once you had a second one, then I started thinking like what could the second one be? Yeah, I did guess. I was like, he might say bard.
I like this prompt today. Wait, that kind of turned into a compliment vehicle.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I was like, people were just listening to us gas each other.
Yeah, I needed that. I don't know about you.
No, that was good. I really like that. Oh yeah, we should get like, eventually, maybe we could get because we've said it a lot of times, but we're going to do it soon, I promise. We're going to get on our socials and kind of get our, profile pictures and, whatever.
Imminent.
We're going to start clipping stuff, but you need content to clip first, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we could get, if we want to use, like, pictures of ourselves in, like, our profile pictures or on our banner for our channel, maybe we could get somebody, like, some, like, cheap Fiverr artist or something like nothing too crazy, but someone who's like decently good can make the monk version of you and like the artificer bard version of me, and that's that's our like channel like pictures of ourselves.
Any artist, feel free. Listen, we would commission you to make little cute little character doohickeys.
I'm sure there's got to be a ton on those sites where it's like turn yourself into a D&D character.
Yeah.
Just give me a picture of yourself. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's people cranking. I mean, some people are really talented at that. So that would be cool to kind of put in our thing. But yeah, I think that was a really good prompt. I think we need more of those. Like very, what it would be and why. Whatever the topic is, the what and why. I like a good explanation.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then,
well, our final segment of the episode. Thanks
like
for sticking with us
yes.
up to this point.
I feel like we're almost like holding the carrot in front of like the whole like holding the carrot in front of the animal so they keep going. That's us with our recommendations for people to get to the end of the episode, or maybe not. Maybe now they're like, yeah, fuck it.
We've heard.
I'm done. Yeah.
I tune in for hot takes and then I put it down.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe nobody likes it, but. You can comment and tell us if you don't like it. That'd be great. That'd be great.
Feel free. Use freedom of speech.
Yeah, use that free will,
Well, you said that your recommendation had something to do with GameStop.
Yes. So yeah, at the end, we always give a recommendation, something that we feel strongly enough to, if I were to go to Derek or another friend and be like, I think this is cool and why. So I was on GameStop's website, because now this is the 3rd time I have submitted Pokemon cards to be graded and using GameStop. And it's something that I've realized, at least for the common person, it's the cheapest way to do it. And the big thing for me is not only is it cheaper like per card, it's also cheaper shipping. Also, when I talk about shipping, where I live, I don't feel comfortable shipping things to my house on like an unscheduled date because theft is a thing. And
we live in a major city.
So yeah, the fact that I can go to GameStop, drop my stuff off. They take care of all the submissions. Like it goes to PSA, it comes back. Like I can just pick it up at GameStop. This is the 3rd time. I've done it twice already successfully, and then this is now I submitted my 3rd. So that's why I was on their website and talking about like I was looking through like the grading section, and then that's when I saw the fucking Pokemon slots. But yeah, it's just something. It's not too big for me this week. I haven't really tried any new video games as of late that I haven't already recommended. But this is something that I know a lot of people online maybe have heard like horror stories of, oh, my cards got lost or whatever it is. I mean, we live in a major city, a city where sometimes things get stolen off my front porch. My cards have never been stolen. I've done this multiple times. I've really enjoyed it. I've also I wouldn't send in a $33,000 card.
Right.
maybe do that how you will. But, you know, for my cards, they're only worth, you know, pennies compared to that. You know, people aren't stealing that, I guess. I don't know. But I recommend it. If you've been weary about it and be like, oh, is it really legit? Or, you know, is that something you think about doing? I would say go for it. Because so far, it's been a very seamless process for me.
Yeah. I think people need testimonials, too. Because it is a thing where it's like, you just never know with big stuff like that.
Oh, no, I have a thing in the way. No. I just realized I have, and some people are like, oh... You know, well, here's you can even see. Here's all the ones I've done. So I've done a good. I think it was half and half kind of. I did them.
That classic Charizard.
Oh yeah, well, because the Charizard that was from my childhood, so I had to get it. I don't even know if you can see it. Oh, it's probably. Oh, there we go. Kind of. I don't know. Focus is probably off. But some people are like, oh, the going through GameStop, you might not get a good grade. Like, what if they mess up your cards? Well, I've gotten multiple 10s. Again, you probably can't see that because of the focus. But I've gotten
subtle flex.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of. I've sold one of these cards already. We were together when I sold a Pokemon card. I've only ever sold one Pokemon card in my life. And
shout out to you, dude.
Yeah.
With your backpack of cash at a convention.
Yeah, that was
wherever you are.
So yeah, I mean, that I have the full art Poliwhirl card from 151, which is a pretty sought after newer set, and that got a 10, and you know, so I don't know. I think it's legit. You should do it. End of story.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I didn't realize you could do that at GameStop, so I'm learning. And
yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm not a full GameStop stand, so let's not.
Yeah.
Let's not put words in my mouth.
I was gonna say maybe for next time we can talk about that. Yeah. We talked about that trade out anything thing already, right? Trade anything day. At GameStop,
I think we mentioned it, or I don't know.
The higher ups at GameStop.
It was only $5 though. I don't know if you saw that. I saw that.
It's $5 a store credit.
That's it. So no matter how much you gave, it was just for $5.
So we're just torturing employees.
Yeah. So people are giving employees trash for $5.
GameStop. You just got a glowing endorsement. We're gonna leave it there today. That's.
Yeah, I will say I'm not like a. Back in the day, I like GameStop, but as of recently, that is something that has made me come back around into the store. Mm-hmm. And I'll leave it at that.
My recommendation also should be kind of quick. It's a video game. I am so late to the party, but I just started playing the new Spider-Man game from 2 years ago, Spider-Man 2.
The
Insomniac.
Miles Morales?
I think it's Insomniac, yeah. So it's the sequel. So they came out with Spider-Man. They came out with the Miles Morales game. Okay. This is Spider-Man 2 because the Miles Morales one is technically separate. So this is dual Spider-Man. So they're both active, and you can actually switch whenever you want between Peter and Miles. They're operating together, and they interact in the story. The story actually progresses, kind of switching on and off. So sometimes you have to be Miles, and sometimes you have to be Peter. This is if you've learned nothing else from this podcast up to this point, you're going to get honesty. And the story, so far, I'm not done. Super mid, super mid story. Not. I wouldn't say buy this game for the most fantastic Spider-Man story you've ever seen. There are some choices I really, really don't get, but. All that to say, I am recommending this game because it is genuinely, and hands down, the most satisfying traversal I have ever experienced in the game. In terms of traversal. And I liked the old Spider-Man games. I really liked them. Yeah. They have added so many things that, I could never go back and play those games anymore because, for example, the big thing that's a big addition is within the Spider-Man suit now, you have, click web wings that you can do, okay? So you can glide. And when you can glide, so you don't have access to fast travel when you start the game. However, the way this works is...
I like that they do that.
You can glide at any point. Whenever you're swinging, you can just switch to your glide. And there are air channels that you can see via spider sense, in a major city, just kind of wind channels, that operate as highways that carry you around. Yes, that carry you around the city. So you can fully via these like air highways get like from the top of Manhattan to the bottom of Manhattan very quickly in a way that I am so satisfied by it. I have gotten home from work and just turned this game on for fun, like to just swing around and fly around. And it's genuinely, I have not experienced ever, like, because you're not flying, but you know, people say like, oh, I want a Superman game where you can fly around the city and do that. This has made me see a vision for that of just like you making traversal so fun and engaging and being able to do different things. And sometimes there's like an air vent that's popping up and you get a big boost off that. The highways, when you're crossing the bridges in New York, like some of them go through and around the bridges. So you're literally like the bridge full of
like
cars
threading through,
and it is so satisfying. And my last thing, maybe controversial, whatever, but like this game was made
Just ended on a hot take.
Whatever. This game was made in like 2023, I want to say is when it was released. And part of it's a little heavy-handed, but this game, I'm just like bring back woke, because this game I don't think could come out today in this current climate. So like there's just a lot of things. In every mission, there is acknowledgement of difference and diversity in a way that I think would feel heavy-handed to somebody that, like, you know, is like, oh, this is, you know, the women and the gays and the, you know, black people trying to, like, take up space in my Spider-Man game. But, like, it is so organically done in a way that I appreciate. Miles, like, one of his first side missions is, like, to help a guy, like, pose to his like date at this school, and it's like it's two dudes, and it's like Miles is like so happy to do that and like post for photos with them after. And Miles's girlfriend is deaf or hard of hearing, so every time that him and his friends are hanging out, Miles and all of his friends are signing while they're talking, and like that's happening. Peter is like constantly helping out regular New Yorkers who very often are like in hijab or are visually different, and like I just feel like it is so. And I'm not really giving it a pat on the back, because this is an honest reflection of the diversity of New York City. So like it's not like, but I do feel like I have to acknowledge it, because I feel like we are kind of in a weird time, and it stands out to me just as like, you know, for example, like the signing that's going on in the game, or like, you know, his girlfriend is texting him, but it's like text to voice. So like that's okay. how they're communicating. And stuff like that I have not really seen in a modern video game, and I feel like the world is better for it, because there's a lot of people that not just exist in the world, but like play these games of various experiences and backgrounds. And just to see, especially his girlfriend who is deaf, I just feel like that really, really fucking resonated for me. And I respect it, because they don't have to do that. And in fact, they're incentivized not to. Yeah. You could just do whatever you want. And
it's easier not to.
So big fan of that.
Awesome.
Also the costume catalog is great. They have like a million costumes, including my favorite Miles costume, which is his, I'll show you after, but it's like a pink hoodie, kind of like Spider-Man suit. That was his main costume for a while. Wow. Miles in a pink hoodie maybe doesn't sound cool.
Didn't he kind of have that at one point in the movie, in the Spider-Verse? He was rocking like a reddish pinkish hoodie at one point.
He might have. This is different. It like comes up over the mask like halfway.
Oh, okay.
I'll show you. It's a cute fit. I really like it, and it's in this game, and I just love being able to swing around in my favorite costume. Like, yeah. Great after work activity, even though the story is mid. So
I will say, so these games are on my list, and I started. It was the classic, like, okay, like I'm starting to, you know, maybe get a little free time. Because again, my gaming ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of free time. I was like, I should start a new game that I've been wanting to do, and that was when Miles Morales came out. It's like the second one. I was like, let me play the first one. Instantly, I was like, "Oh, this game's gonna be good." Mm-hmm. To the point where I was like, "I don't have the time that I should to like." It was the kind of game where I was like, "I want to be able to rip this like in 5-hour sessions. Like I want to sit down and like." Mostly my gaming now has been like I'll play for 1 to 2 hours. Yeah. And this game felt so cool, like how you're describing, where I was like, I need to do it justice. And I don't know, maybe that's something I rip like on the holiday break, like around Christmas time, and just like do it. Just like complete it. Because
it'll probably be on sale.
I have it. I have the first one. Yeah. So I started playing it, and exactly what you're saying. Like, you know, they had me like going to the very first objective or whatever it was, And the swinging around was I essentially that's all I did.
Yeah.
All I did was swing around. I did one mission, and I spent way too much time swinging around. And this is like the first one, not even the cool like third one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I cannot start this now. I was like, I won't be able to do it justice. So
yeah,
I think that is a good recommendation. I think those games have been like highly, accredited and everything. And
yeah, no, again, I'm late, so everything that I'm saying has probably already been said. But I will say, and they debuted it I remember it was part of the advertisement for this game. But like the opening of the game is a fight versus Sandman, where Sandman is a massive sand guy in New York, like, doing stuff. I'm not, again, this isn't like a spoiler, this is the first like 5 minutes of the game. At one point, you switch to Miles is swinging, and Sandman grabs him out of the air and throws him across New York City. And Miles flies back, so you leave the sandstorm that's on this half of the island. Mm-hmm. You're over here, he sets up webs, slingshots back, and all of that happens, it happens in the map. And it's hard,
wow.
I've never experienced that in a game before, where you're introduced to like, how big and fast this is really going to be.
There's no loading screen.
You genuinely, your character slingshots from this end of Manhattan to this and back over.
Wow.
Incredible. 10 out of 10. I can forgive weird, kind of shitty writing
plot
for this.
Wow.
So, 10 out of 10. Recommend.
Awesome.
8 out of 10.
You're like, wait a minute.
I was like, I said 10 out of 10. I did not mean it. 8 out of 10.
Good catch.
But yeah, that's all I got. So I feel like we exhausted it today.
Yeah, we did. For sure. I don't even know how long we've been going.
I didn't set a timer.
Like an hour and a half, probably something like that.
Probably.
Usually what we usually do.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, yeah, no. Once again, thanks for tuning in. We will eventually keep our promise of starting to reach out, start clipping, and please reach out to us. I mean, the easiest thing you can do is comment.
It is.
And we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Also, I think we talked about this, and I just remembered it. And at this point, who cares? Because it's at the end, right?
Someone's still watching.
Most people probably don't get to this point, but whatever. We always search the fucking hour and a half that we film for a goddamn thumbnail. I think at the very end, we should both just do a pose.
Okay,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
whatever we want to do in the thumbnail.
I have to. Okay, hold on. I have to think then. So what are you posing? What's?
I was just we should just do something goofy, or maybe something well, you said I was an artificer, and I don't know why I just thought of myself using binoculars. I was gonna do something goofy.
I could be a monk. I can be
just however you want to pose or do something. For whatever reason, my go-to first thing in the dome was just do one of those. I don't know why.
I'm gonna hit finger guns.
All right.
I'm gonna.
All right, ready? So then we'll make the 3, 2, 1. There we go.
I hope my face looked good. You know what? We'll see. We'll see if that's the thumbnail.
I think we should start doing it at the end of every single one.
I like that.
That we just pose so then we know where it is. We can clip it.
Yeah, it's a great. It helps us skip a step later on. So
exactly, it helps us. So, but yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
As
See you
always,
next week.
Have a good week. It was good seeing you. Bye bye.